Hi there, and thank you so much for joining me again. Today, I have the Redshift 6 on the desk because it recently received a firmware update that added a few very cool features, and though I will be showing you what those are, my main goal in this video is to use the Redshift sounds to make a cover of one of the hottest songs at the moment, thanks to that very popular Jon Hamm club dancing scene, Turn the Lights Off. It's a really cool and synthy song, and it has some really great 90s dance vibes, so I think the Redshift here is going to be a perfect fit. I'll be using a very simple yet powerful combo, which is my trusty OPXY as a MIDI controller, sequencer, and drums and vocal chain, but all the synth sounds are going to be coming from the Redshift, where I'll be making full use of its multitimbrality to really squeeze out all the juice out of a 6 analog voices. Before we start, please know that Supercritical sent me Redshift 6 at no cost, but they're not paying me and have no say over the contents in this video. This video does have a sponsor, the good folks at Analog Cases, but more on them a bit later. If you're already subscribed, huge welcome back, my friend. If this is your first time here,
hi, welcome to the Midlife Synthesist. Let's get started.
If you happen to have seen my last video on the Redshift 6, I was really enjoying the sounds coming out of it, but there were still a few core features missing, like the effects section and the macros. The developers have an entire roadmap of features and updates laid out on their website, and they have been delivering on their promises consistently, so I couldn't really be super critical. With update 1.5, we now have an updated DSP effects section with 4 dedicated effects, as well as a new filter engine. The new effects section features a reverb, a delay, and 2 different flavors of choruses. This is a patch without the reverb. This is with the reverb. Now you have a low cut and a high cut, as well as decay, level, and a pre-delay. And of course damping. Let's take this from the shower, kind of like a gated reverb, to Cosmos. Let's add a bit of chorus into this. Yeah, this goes on for days. How about some club? With a bit of chorus. Chorus 1 plus 2. As for the delay, pretty groovy. The X-Pan feature is very nice. The choruses, as you can see, can be used with the delay and the reverb stacked on top. So let's check out the vintage chorus. There's no chorus. Chorus 1. Chorus 2. And chorus 1 plus 2. Chorus plus. Which also has some very interesting waves here that you can choose from. You can mess around with the rate as well. Out of 4, definitely my favorite is the reverb, because it has some serious Shrine on Big Sky vibes, and as a huge fan of huge reverbs, I'm really happy with what Supercritical have done here. Now, another thing that's really interesting about these effects is the routing here, in that the effects are applied to the main out, but the auxiliary outs 1 and 2 remain fully dry, allowing for you to send out other voices through them, bypassing the effects section entirely. And actually, when we make the cover, I'll be sending out 1 voice through the main out with reverb, and the other 2 voices entirely dry out the auxiliary outs, and I'll be mixing them here in my Zoom L6. Now, the next thing on firmware 1.5 is they added a new filter engine, the Mirror Twins. So I'm going to go into Engine and VCF and choose Mirror Twins. This, in essence, provides you with 2 pairs of peaks or notches for some very cool sound sculpting capabilities. Let's check this out. Oh, and by the way, you have good and evil twins. I definitely like the Evil Twins more. And of course, this is all modulatable. So if I go LFO, and I can modulate the rate of the LFO. Yeah, for sound design, this thing is a beast. Okay, so before I get too carried away, let's make some music. Now, this is going to be a dance beat, so I'm going to first lay out some drums. And I'm going to use my OPXY sequencer here to help me out. Okay, so my tempo is 132. Okay, now I'm going to set up my synth sounds. In this song, there are three main sounds that make up the entire vibe for me. The polyphonic stab, the synth bass, and the pluck melody in the verse. Now remember, I only have 6 voices on the Redshift, so I really need to figure out if I can pull this out without needing to record any backing audio tracks, but I think we can make it. On voice 1, I have a pluck preset, which is monophonic. And I have the paraphony off, and I'll be sending this out through the main with some reverb. Nice. Now voice 2 is going to be a polyphonic stab, which are 3-note chords, and I've set the polyphony here to 3 and made sure to lock those 3 voices so they don't get stolen by any other of the voices in my sequence. So I'm going to unmute this, and now we have... Okay, so let's sequence this in, and I'm going to give myself 4 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, even though I love making these cover videos, every time I upload them, they get a copyright claim, so I can't monetize them. And without the resources, I really wouldn't be able to keep this channel going. Thankfully, my friends at Analog Cases are sponsoring today's video. These guys make cases for most popular synths and group boxes, like this case for the OPXY right here. They use premium quality materials, and it's even got a velvety interior for your XY, so it feels all cozy in here. They also make my favorite backpack, the Trackback, which can easily fit the Live 3 and the OPXY together for taking your beats on the go. Use my code down in the description for a discount on your next purchase. Thank you, Analog Cases, for supporting me and other creators like me. Now, back to the video. Okay, so patch number 3 is going to be my bass, and I want to fatten this up with a bit of unison. Yeah, that sounds nice. But if you can hear that, it's coming out with reverb, and I don't want that. So I'm going to take this baby out to the main auxiliary 1. That's better. And now I'm going to use the OPXY's arpeggiator, 4 bars again. It's really coming up nicely. Okay, so my bass and my pluck are 2 voices, plus the 3 chords and my polyphonic stab, which makes 5, which means I have 1 voice left. Fun fact though, even though the Redshift only has 6 polyphonic voices, each one of those voices is capable of paraphony, meaning the oscillators can have different pitches, but they share the filter and the amp envelopes. For any of you wondering what the difference between those are, I'm going to show you right now. If I go into voice number 4, you can see that this is a monophonic patch, so only 1 note if I play any number of keys. However, if I go in here and select paraphony, this means I can now play multiple notes on the same voice. However, if I press down on any key, all the voices will trigger simultaneously as they're sharing the same envelopes, which wouldn't happen in true polyphony. Let me show you. So if I have this one pressed down, and this one pressed down, and I press this, all 3 notes are triggering at the same time. I'm going to set this one up as another polyphonic stab, just a bit higher in the note range. Now, I laid down the bass track for the verse, and what's really cool about the arpeggiator on the OPXY is that it gets really way more funkier than it's supposed to be. For example, this is without the arpeggiator. And this is what happens if I press the arpeggiator to on. How cool is that? Okay, so remember voice 1, I'm going to leave this with an arpeggiator as well. Just have fun with the cutoff once in a while. Okay, so the last thing missing here are the vocals, which I'll play for you live as an outro using the internal mic on the OPXY. The Supercritical team have really been delivering on their promises for the Redshift, and it's a fascinating thing to see this synth come into its own. I'll be exploring it more in the future as more updates come along, and I hope you join me for those as well. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful, or at least entertaining. Have a great week. I'll see you next time.